Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the Grayscale trusts. With that being said, let's get it. Okay, so LTCN, as you guys can see, we got a break of this trend line here based on pretty much last week. Like I said before, we're looking to get above the EMAs and resistance. Once we're above that, it's pretty much blue skies from that point. So support, we're looking at a convergence of these trend lines here. As you guys can see, they are lining up almost perfectly. So roughly about $17 at the base. Resistance is going to be 25 to about 27, and then the swing high up here is 54. Levels above that would be 75, 100 to 135, and then somewhere between, I'd say about 250 to 400 would be like a next major swing high, but beyond that. So from the current price to the swing high is 158% move. If it pulls back to the convergence of these trend lines, which is possible because it's still not above the EMAs and resistance, it would then turn into roughly about 208% move. So BCHG, this thing's getting trapped in between the EMAs and resistance, so it could possibly pull back. If it does, look for somewhere between maybe 9 to, if we're looking at next week, maybe about $8, I would say, $7.80, $8, somewhere in there. So support could still be between 670 to 770. Resistance, once again, is going to be 1020 to 1265, and then above that you have 18 to 20 and then $24 respectively. So just going from the current price to the swing high is 137% move. However, if it pulls back to support, which could happen, you would then be looking at 206%. Keep in mind, we need to get a candle close above this zone here and a retest for this to be considered a flip zone from resistance into support. Okay, HZEN, we're still within this falling wedge. It's a very bullish pattern, as you guys know. So this is support currently, which is 390 to 420. I wouldn't say it's looking super bullish, but this candle is above this candle, and this candle is above the support zone, so that's always good. We see a break of this trend line. We then would need to get above this resistance to get to the next level. So resistance is 690 to roughly about $8, and then the swing high up here is at 1050. So just from the current price at the swing high is 122% move. If we were to get a pullback into support, let's say roughly about halfway in the zone, it would then turn into 160%. ETCG, once again, the channel is basically going to be support. So $11.15 to about $13 is what I'd be looking at, because there's a lot of previous support here back in time, as you guys can see. So we need to get out of this channel, above this resistance zone and above this downtrending line here. If we can do all that, then we'd probably be heading back up to this 1930 level. I'll just go ahead and give the measured move from the current price to the previous swing high up here. So about a 58% move. ETH, this is a bit weird. So we got to pull back into the EMAs and then a pump, but yet this is a red candle. So I'm guessing this thing was up before it's currently down. Either way, there is a possibility for a pullback into this support. So 25 to 29 is what you'd be looking at. And you have your cup and handle target, which is all the way up here at previous highs. This is going to be 46.50. I just rounded off and say 47. So from the current price to the cup and handle target is a 46% move. If we get a pullback into the zone somewhere, then you could be potentially looking at roughly about 82%. And so you see the cup and handle. So there's the cup, the handle, and then the big green candle breakout. Keep in mind, price action can do anything between now and this target. So FILG, we got the inverse head and shoulders here. You can see the target is just shy of $300. These candles are kind of flat. So we had a hammer candle above the trend line. That's always bullish. But again, we're still below the EMAs. So we got above the trend line, but still below the EMAs. We need to see a close above the EMAs to truly start seeing some upside here. The swing high is up at 395. I'll just round it off and say 400. And the support that I would be looking at for retest of is down here between $37 to $40 as of right now. If it comes down and touches the trend line, it's probably looking at about 56. So a little bit above where I would be looking to buy at. So from support all the way to the swing high up here, you'd be looking at, sorry for the choppiness, y'all, roughly about a 983% gain. Fill G, potential double bottom playing out here. So you got one bottom, two bottoms, and this is a hammer candle. As you guys know, that's usually a reversal indicator. So we need to get above the trend line, get above the EMAs, and then we'll be clear skies after that. Support currently $8 to about $10, and the swing high up here is 32. Now keep in mind, when it does go above this all-time high swing high, sky's the limit. I would say even when it gets above this trend line, potentially it might only maybe get stopped at 18 and the all-time high, and then it's basically just going to blast off after that point. So 260% gain on GBAT. GLIV, there is a potential for an inverse head and shoulders pattern here, but we would need to see this thing basically move up and break out immediately to confirm it. The inverse head and shoulders pattern target is all the way up here at roughly about $84, which is just above the previous swing high at 80. If it comes up here and reaches the inverse head and shoulders target, I suspect this thing is just going to fly off the rails and probably go up into the hundreds, because just for it to get above this previous all-time high is price discovery, and that is always a big deal. So I'd be looking for a pullback, either a breakout of this trend line or a pullback into support, one of the two. So if it does pull back into support, roughly about I'd say 12 to 15 is going to be your support zone there. Moves all the way up to the swing high, roughly about a 500% move. G-Link, this thing does look like it wants to potentially double bottom retest this support. So again, support is roughly about $65 to $84. The swing high up here is 220. So if I just measure it from where it currently is to the previous all-time high, 159% move. If you manage to somehow get your cost basis deeper in the zone, it would then be 190% move. GSOL, once again, I'm going to reiterate, I simply would not touch this one. I mean, it could be bullish, could be bearish. We're getting close to the apex of the move. As you guys can see, it's pretty much slated to be probably somewhere around late July. Until it gets a confirmed move, I would just not touch it one way or another. But even if it did break bullish, I wouldn't buy it because it's just simply too far above the EMAs at this point. I mean, the red EMA is all the way down here at 225, so that should tell you what the risk is. The downside drop on here would be massive. It'd be 60%. It doesn't mean it has to go down. It's just, in my mind, the risk to reward ratio in the immediate short term is not great. I would want to buy down here and sell all the way up here. That's how I'd be looking at this. So support is 166 to 200. And the all-time high is at 580. That's a 205% move. Of course, you guys can do what you want to with, your own positions. I'm just telling you guys how I would do it if it was me. So GXLM, still expecting this thing to retest 2450. Again, that's this line down here where a lot of support was tested in prior times. And then the swing move would be all the way up here to 69, roughly about $70. That move would basically orchestrate 175% gains, so a little bit more than double your money. Mana, this thing's having a retest again of support. As you guys can see, it retested resistance multiple times, now retesting support multiple times. So support is going to be $17.50 to about $20. The previous swing high up here is $70. As you guys can see, that is also the all-time high. So that move would be nearly 280%. Zcash, so we got this kind of almost ridiculous looking, not quite a hammer candle, but pretty close to a hammer candle with a very bullish wick bouncing off this line that we told you about. It looks like it might be about ready to break resistance too. So if it does and it gets above the resistance zone, it's going to come up to this zone, which again is 8 to roughly about 960. The current zone 439, 440, we'll just call it, to 510, and then the swing high up here 10 1/4. So just from, I actually measured that wrong. Sorry, y'all. I don't know why I thought this was a bearish candle. So from the current price to the swing high is going to be roughly about 110%. So So anyways, this is the Grayscale Trust. Hope y'all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see y'all later. Peace.